Hey everybody, we are here for day 3 of our live series around trauma-informed care. I am just returning from a lovely acupuncture session and was laying on the table thinking all sorts of things about trauma-informed care, and I was on a tangent in my brain around what's not trauma informed, when we can really go down those rabbit holes of alarm and panic of like all the things that you've ever seen that weren't trauma informed. That tends to happen in my brain when I'm seeing a new practitioner. And I was seeing a new one today who actually was quite beautifully trauma informed, but all those past experiences come right in. So anyways, I will probably do another live on that, both what's not trauma informed and what's not nervous system regulation and what is nervous system regulation. I'm planning a podcast right now with a friend because I'm hearing those terms thrown around a lot, especially nervous system regulation, and also understanding that a lot of people have never heard those words. And so I love to just take some time to break it down, what it is, what it's not, why it's helpful, why it's becoming really popular, why it's a very big passion of mine, and one of the keys that have unlocked my own experience of feeling whole, settled inside myself, centered, and like that last puzzle piece I needed really clicked into place. So at some point I will bring that in. Not sure when yet, but stay tuned. Today we are talking about why we don't push past fear when we are in a trauma-informed space, when we're trauma-informed facilitators, why we don't invite people to do that. And that is something, that's pretty common to hear. That you must be uncomfortable in order to heal, and just push past it and then you'll get the results you want. That feels like some really old school conditioning to me. And when I hear people giving that kind of advice to their audiences and their clients, like, I'm just here to help you push past it, I feel tense in my system. I feel angry. I feel sad, to be honest, that people have been brought to a place where they think that's how they need to heal, because so many people are in the healing experience because they've already been through so much intensity. And to add to that, I feel sad. It's like, why would you want anybody to have to feel intensity and overwhelm in order to heal? Wouldn't you want them to get to experience something like ease and spaciousness and gentle and slow and peace, so that they don't have to keep re-experiencing what they've been used to? That's not true for everybody, but a pretty good portion of folks who have experienced trauma tend to turn out as intensity junkies. So they tend to repeat what's familiar to them, because what has been familiar is intensity, is overwhelm, is being activated in their nervous systems, charged in that sympathetic experience sometimes, where we're in that fight, flight, freeze experience. When we add the experience of pushing past fear, it trips up that experience of jumping into the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze. And so then all of a sudden we're working with people who are not present, not here in the parasympathetic state where we can heal. And so we end up inadvertently having people reperpetuate old trauma, get tripped up into a similar state that they're already used to, and rewiring that into their system and calling that healing. You see that a lot with people who do really intense breathwork experiences, medicine journeys, bioenergetics, biodynamic breath work. A lot of things that feel good sometimes. It can feel really good to ramp up that energy because it's familiar and it moves a lot of energy, but it isn't necessarily sustainably healing. What is more healing is helping people build the tolerance by helping them learn how to resource, feel more comfortable actually with a little bit of ease, with a little bit of support, with a little bit of pleasure. And we do it a little bit by little bit. When we go too much too far or too much too fast, we all of a sudden are working with an activated, traumatized system. When we go little bits at a time, introducing the idea that we can feel safe when we're at ease, then the parasympathetic nervous system is here. The client is here, more here in the present moment. And that's where we do the work. We don't do the work digging into the past. That's old school stuff. And the past will come up in the present moment when it's ready and if it needs to, but it doesn't always need to. The other thing that comes to mind that I hear often is that we need to get to the root when we're healing trauma in order to be fully expanded or integrated or whatever. And I see people interpreting that as that, like pushing an agenda and needing to dig into old stories of the past in order to help people feel more free. And the thing that I love about trauma-informed care and somatic trauma resolution techniques these days, it's about actually healing right here in the present moment. We don't have to torture ourselves by being back there in the past. We don't have to go get anything all the way down at the root. The reality is, when we heal here in the present moment, it impacts all the way down to the root. We don't have to go digging for it. It's just like the more whole, the more resourced, the more centered, grounded, supported, the more we're able to breathe fully, the more we're able to talk about the things that feel challenging or that overwhelm us right here and right now. It impacts the past. It goes all the way back down the line. And that's not to say that we don't, it's not helpful or healthy to tell the stories of what have happened. That can be incredibly helpful in the experience of healing trauma, but it's in the way we do it. So often I'll see people telling their stories in this really intense way where they're pushing past all of these fear and fright and uncomfortable cues instead of slowing down, where we tell our stories bit by bit, where we can still be present. We can have one foot on land right here and right now, and then one foot in that past experience of the story while we still have access to compassion, connection, and presence. When we leave land and just push through the fear in order to just tell the story or go into the past experience, we actually lose our ability to stay resourced and also lose our ability to integrate that trauma that happened. And so a lot of people end up doing it backwards, where they feel like, oh, I'm trauma informed. That means that I'm available for you to tell all of your story. I'm not scared. And the reality is that's not trauma-informed care. Trauma-informed care is we speak bits of the story. We don't just vomit it all out there for our own sake as the client, for the sakes of the people listening to us so that they can be present with us. The key here is being present. When we can learn that it's safe here in the present moment, we can welcome everything that's happened from the past. But we have to build that foundation first in order to welcome each piece from the past that's felt overwhelming. So on this topic of pushing past fear, why we don't push past fear, it's that simple. It's because when we do that, we activate our system so much that we can't stay present. So we're going for keeping people right here, right now, and also being able to tolerate feelings of ease, comfort, support, pleasure even. And for many people with trauma, feelings like peace or ease can be quite scary because it means maybe letting their guard down. And for the last couple of lives I've done in the last 2 days, we've learned that it's actually really important to honor the guard, the armor, the parts that show up to protect. And so we just want to know that when we're inviting people into these supportive, resourcing experiences, like imagining a peaceful place or just taking 3 breaths, noticing something that feels pleasant to look at or to feel on the inside, that actually it might be really overwhelming for people, because if they slow down enough, it might mean they have to feel vulnerable, and not being vulnerable is what has kept them safe. It's what's helped them survive. So that can also be really intense. The key to this story is we go slowly, we go gently, we go little by little, and we show people that it's possible. It's possible to be connected and right here as we take our time together. I think so many people in the coaching and wellness industries and therapy industries really have this thing like, I need to give my client a big transformational experience so that they feel like they're healing. And that's more about us as practitioners and our egos. We don't need to give people big experiences for healing. That we need to show them that it's okay to take our time. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to not do the quick fix or, this American way of like so much, so fast, just overindulge in everything we do. It's also trauma, like just do it so intensely. And so when we show them, we don't actually have to go over the edge of presence into fear in order to heal. We give them this incredible gift of, I'm right here with you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for as long as it takes. I'm confident in myself that if we're just here with this together, slowly, bit by bit, that the healing will innately come from you, from inside. It's already in you. Can you see the difference with that? That's not like, I'm going to give you a big transformational experience. Yeah, sure. I have lots of skills and modalities and techniques. I can do that with my clients, but I don't anymore. I used to a lot. I don't, because that was part of me jumping out of myself. I was really wanting them to get so much so that I felt valuable, so that they would return, because then they would feel like whatever money they gave me was worth it. Go on and on and on. It's not to say some of the bigger experiences aren't helpful at certain times. Different medicine for different moments and different situations. However, we want to have a large toolbox so that sometimes we can go slow, sometimes we can go fast, sometimes things are subtle, sometimes things are big and expansive, so that we can help our clients and our students know that they have this incredible capacity that we can help them widen to expand and contract and expand and contract. And so we want them to be able to have a range. But they're not going to get that with us if we just go for intensity, if we push past fear. We're going to be modeling something for them that might actually be a reperpetuation of the intensity they've already experienced. And we don't know that, right? I have compassion for it. I did that. I used to guide really intense breathworks circles. And it was beautiful in ways. Lots of things were felt, lots was expressed. People felt more themselves than ever. People have felt free. And then I realized, I love breath work, but a lot of people actually were blowing their systems out, and they would get these incredibly expansive experiences. They just push past fear. They'd breathe through it. They'd scream through it. They'd pound through it. And then I witnessed again and again what would happen after that freedom they felt is they would contract. They would start grasping for that experience again, or they would feel an incredible vulnerability hangover. And it could be really fragmenting or disorienting for them, especially if they didn't get that support with a circle, frequently and sustainably. And so I wanted to be more careful and mindful with people's precious nervous systems. And So what I learned is, we go a little bit, we give people options, we allow space for gently moving into the breath. We show people that there's a range. There's no one way to do this. And, the more embodied and healed people get, the more they can stay with these really big experiences without getting overwhelmed or having that. But when I'm doing really big circles, it's like we have all sorts of people. So gentle, gentle, gentle. Let me just stop for a moment and see if there are any questions here. I'm really loving your comments. If you haven't said hello, please do. Go slow to go fast. Exactly. And I speak from personal experience, man. I've been an intensity junkie my whole life, and just in the last couple of years, I've been able to tolerate slow. I've been able to with clients. Somehow, just being able to be in that regulated state working, I've been able to do that. That was such good medicine for a decade. But now, even on my own, I can tolerate slow. And for many of us, it takes time to be able to do that on our own. And it's delicious. But it wasn't until I started saying yes to the healing modalities that were actually uncomfortably slow. And I did not like it at all. And it really brought up a lot. But I was willing to give it a try because I had tried everything else. And it really helped. It helped a lot. Yeah. So I'm not seeing any questions here. I'm just going to check in and see if there's anything else I want to say here. I feel like I'm leaving out the people that go into collapse. So there are other trauma responses besides fight, flight, and freeze, a really highly activated freeze. There's also a collapse and the kind of freeze where it's like we're very immobile. We have very low tone in our system. We're not tense or tight or fast. We're actually like hopeless in the state of I can't, I won't. And so those aren't the people that I'm too worried about in this particular situation. It's more the people who are like, yes, I will push past the fear. Give me the instructions. However, folks who do spend more time out and down of their window of tolerance, this is called hypoarousal. And that's a different kind of nervous system activation. It's actually quite activating. It's the place in our trauma experience where we can't fight, we can't flight, and so we go into play dead. We're totally immobile, and that can turn up if we live in that space long enough, like depression, hopelessness, a lot of chronic illness and fatigue. And so we also want to work gently with these people. Yes, I know the impulse is to like really bring their energy up, but there's a reason their system has gone into, I'm going to play dead. This is a survival response. It's a very intelligent response that has said, I'm going to shut everything down to protect to that threat, whatever it was or whatever it still is. And so if we're coming in with, let's, bring the energy up, we might have people, start moving into anger or other intense emotions. And if we do too much too fast, it's going to shut them right back down into that collapsed state. So the moral of the story is slow, gentle, patience. And what do we need for that? We need a lot of confidence in ourselves that we can hold the discomfort that comes with slowing down, both in ourselves, within others. So slowing down certainly does not mean it will be less comfortable for people. Sometimes it'll be very uncomfortable. So we have to trust ourselves that we know how to help people resource, stay in the present moment, be with our own nervous system when things get activated, when we feel insecure. And we have to be trauma informed because there's so many nuances here that we miss when we're playing with people's energies and emotions and thoughts even. So when we can really, really be confident enough to be like, yes, I've got you. I can track this with you. We can offer all of our modalities because they're all really beautiful and very effective in different ways, different medicines for different times. And we have got to be trauma informed because trauma is tricky. It's actually simple when you learn about it, but it's things you would never, ever in a million years think about. And even with the best of intentions, miss so much because it's the way it's wired. It's like, it's just there to make you think you've got it, but you might not. So once you start becoming trauma informed, it's so much easier. And it's like, oh, now I can be confident. Now I can relax. I don't need to tiptoe. I know what it looks like when harm is being caused. I know how to help people come into the present moment. I know how to go little by little. And then it's just so easy to go. And here's the thing I'm offering. Here's my gift. It's really beautiful. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's good to be here with you. Thanks for your comments. I hope more people comment as they see the videos come in. Through November 21st, which is less than 10 days away, Creating Safer Space, my online program that's self-paced mostly, it's $150 off. So if you're curious about it, go check out the page. I'll put the link in the comments. It's creatingsaferspace.com. The code for 150 off is November 150 off, and I might be backwards. It might be 150 off November. I'll put it in the comments. I did that yesterday too. I'll actually be jumping in with you in December to answer questions to support your learning. And the cool thing about it is if you get it now, it is discounted through November 21st, and then we close registration till April. And then you will also get April's 6-week live experience that I will be there for with you for 6 weeks. So it'll give you time to integrate, to practice, to ask questions in the Facebook group as much as you want. Actually, we're moving the group to Circle at some point, but right now it's on Facebook. I hope you'll join me, and I hope you'll share this with someone who you know could really benefit from it or feel inspired by it, because this is my passion project, and I would love for it to keep going around the world as it has. So thank you all so much for being here today, and we'll see you soon.